estimation and variation of random variable. For this problem, it says let x be a random variable with the following probability distribution. So these are the values of x, and this is p of x equals x. So to find out the sum of x, the first thing we would do is we're just going to add on to this chart that we have, and we'll say, I'll just draw this out. Hopefully I have enough space because I think I write kind of big sometimes. So we'll say x times p of x. And so for that, what we're going to do is we're just going to simply multiply 0 times 0.30. And you can just use your calculator for that. And so you'll say 0 times 0.30, and that's going to give you 0. Then you'll say, we just go down the row, and you'll say 10 times 0.10, and that's going to give you 1. Then you multiply 20 times 0.05, and that's going to give you 1. Then you'll multiply 30 times 0.15. Let's say 30 times 0.15, and that's going to give you 4.5. Make sure you know that's a 4. Okay. And then we'll multiply 40 times 0.15. 40 times 0.15, and that's going to give you 6. And then we'll multiply 50 times 0.25, and that's going to give you 12.5. So this goes with that, that goes with that, that goes with that, that, and that. Okay, so now we know what x times p of x is. And I'm going to try to see if I can make this a little bit clear once if I draw some lines and say 0, 1, 1, 4.5, 6, and then 12.5. Okay. So now the next part of the problem, we're going to use a different formula. And I'm going to write this formula over here on this side of the paper just for the sake of space. So it's going to be, let me see, I may be able to write it over here. So we'll say parentheses x minus the sum x, and we'll put that in parentheses, squared. And then we'll say p equals x. Okay, so how we'll work this problem out, we'll start by really plugging in what we already have. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. So before we move forward, we will first have to add up these numbers. And once we add up all of these numbers, it's going to give us the sum of x and the sum of x, when you add up all those numbers, comes up to 25. Okay, and this is the sum, which is E25, and so we're going to be actually plugging in that 25 here every time we see this E. Okay, so we'll say parentheses 0, and remember this 0 is the numbers what we got here for our P of X. So we'll put 0 minus 25 squared times 0.30. And this 0.30 comes from this row here. So we're going to simply write all the numbers that we see here on this row as we plug them all in. So next we'll say 1 minus 25 squared. And then we'll say times 0.10. Sorry, 10 minus 25. Then we'll go down again, and then we'll use our numbers over there, and then we'll say 20 minus 25 squared. That's a squared. I know that looks bad. Let me see if I can redo it. Okay, that looks better. Times 0.05. Then we have 30 minus 25 squared times 0.15. Okay, then we have 40 minus 25 squared. As you can see, only thing we're doing is just plugging in all of our numbers into this formula. And then next we have 50 minus 25 squared times 0.25. So all we did was we took the P of X here and plugged in all those numbers here on the end. Then the values of X, we use those and plug those in first. The sum, which was 25, we just minus 25, plug those in on that side of the row. So the next thing that we would do is just pull out our calculators and plug in. So for the first one, we would say parentheses 0 minus 25, close parentheses, squared times 0.30 gives us 187, that's a 7.5. Okay, and then for the next one, we will say, open parentheses, 10 minus 25, close parentheses, squared times 0.10. And that gives you 22.5. Okay, and so we're just going to simply go down the row for all of them. Open parentheses, 20 minus 25, close parentheses, squared times 0.05. And that gives you 1.25. Let me see if so I don't want anybody to think that should be a point. Okay. 1.25. Okay, and then for the next one, we'll say open parentheses 30 minus 25, close parentheses, squared times 0.15 equals 3.75. Okay, we're almost done here. So once again, we'll do open parentheses 40 minus 25 close parentheses squared times 0.15, and that's going to give us 33. Point 75. Okay, so this is the last one. Okay, so open parentheses 50 minus 25 close parentheses squared times 0.25, and that's going to give us 156.25. Okay, so then the next thing you would do is add up all of these numbers here. You would add up 187.5, 22.5, 125.5, 3.75, 33.75, 156.25, and then you will come up with a total of 405. So for E, you will have 25, and for variant X, you will have 405. Okay, that's how you work that problem.